wood chips can be a fuel hazard. But if you do it in the fall, those chips become actually they absorb moisture. They become a sponge in the soil. They actually decrease the fire conditions overall. So it's really important about the when, where, why, not as much as the how. Okay? Does that make sense?
All the chips that came from my trees I lost, I did save them, so I just need to spread them around the crop.
Yes, do it in the fall. That would be the best thing to do, is do it in the fall. And then, again, you're mimicking nature, and bringing up green plants in the spring. And you can chop green material down when it's green, it's fine. That's gonna be taken up. But anyway, so yes, that was a really good question. It comes up a lot, and again, a lot of times the answer I'm going to give everybody is it depends, and it really depends on your site. It depends on your property, but I want you to understand the why, when, where side of it, and then you can determine the how based on your own conditions, okay? That's what permaculture does, really. It gives you the full picture, and then you can figure out the how. So let's see, we've got a few tools here. What I'm going to do is we're going to work on a very small section here. I guess I can demonstrate really quick on one small section, and then you guys, we can break up into teams here. And what's going to happen is we're going to have, we're probably not going to have too many flaggers because, like I said, there's not too much native plants to worry about. Maybe on some of the edges we have some trees and stuff we can mark. So with somebody on flagging, the order what's going to happen is we're going to come through here and chop, which pretty much we're down to, these might work a little bit. It's going to be a bit tough, so I'll still give out a few of these, but mostly loppers. And then Michael here, I'll use it first, but then Michael maybe can use the chainsaw. Honestly, right now with this situation, a chainsaw with a brush blade on it is probably your best tool, and yeah, it's just gotten so far along, it's going to be really woody. I noticed they used a, what's it called, brush hog, or what's that tool called that you guys used in here?
Well, we used a weed whacker, but it has a metal blade on it. At least that's what I use.
Okay.
Well,
And
it's also
the thing about the metal,
or a high weed trimmer, or high weed whacker.
High weed whacker.
Yeah, high weed.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of those big ones, right?
Yeah, they're like 20 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
It's like a lawnmower on steroids,
Yeah.
basically.
Matthew, will that interrupt their service?
Yeah, right.
I thought they meet on Saturday.
It is Saturday.
No,
Sunday.
Saturday is yesterday.
That
And
was a special
No,
event.
it's another church.
Okay. Good point.
Well, this is a church as well.
Yeah, right. Well,
Nature is my religion. We worship with chainsaws.
Smaller, less loud instruments here, and then we'll work forward. But the order of operations here is going to be, one group is going to be cutting, second group will be pulling that broom and piling it up for a minute, okay, in a spot nearby, probably in the middle here, all in one, facing one direction, okay, and then another group is going to come through with our seed. So we have a couple different types of seed. Now this is the whole speeding succession forward part. We have, this is a multiplex cover crop mix you can buy at the Northern Star Mills down in Chico here. Okay, so it's a combination of all kinds of winter cover crops that fix nitrogen and things like that. They'll go until probably about May, June or so. But you got clover, vetch, cowpeas, and fava beans. What did you call it? It's a multiplex cover crop mix. Northern Star Mills carries it. You can find it.
If we lost our property in Berry Creek, is that something we should put out now?
Yeah, so this is just an example of a cover crop. This is a simple one. This is not a native blend, but Jennifer is bringing us a whole bunch of native seeds to mix in with it as well. So we're going to kind of go light on this and then a lot more natives and stuff. I'm actually working with a company in Winters called Hedgerow Farms. They're a 500-acre native plant farm, and they grow seed, and they have a native plant cover crop mix. And also Peaceful Valley has donated a whole bunch of fire recovery cover crop seeds that have all sorts of different things in it. But yeah, so the key here is diversity, as well as things that fix the same nutrient deficiencies as the broom is doing, but at a higher expression, right? So that higher expression of the succession in the system. Now this is one of my favorites to do though. This is what I think is the exact equivalent in the niche that the broom is filling in our system here. This is woolly mullen. Okay, you guys probably recognize this plant. You know, also known as like miner's toilet paper or other things. Got that really nice fuzzy. It's funny. It's actually anti-hemorrhoidal too. Isn't that something? But anyways, these guys end up putting off these big giant pistils and full of seeds. Beautiful flowers. The flowers are medicinal. Plants medicinal in many ways. Good for the lungs. And they actually used to use these for torches back in the day. So if you wanted a good old-fashioned, you know, pitchforks and torching, you know, that's what they used to use back in the day, right? So they dipped these into some solution and then light them on fire, and they were excellent torches. Anyway, so, but this plant is a dynamic accumulator, and it's pulling up all kinds of complex, more complex than the broom is, nutrients from deep down. It puts down a really deep taproot, sometimes up to 8-10 feet deep in the soil, and it's a miner. You know, mines nutrients, brings it up to the topsoil. When it dies off, it releases those. When you chop it back, it releases those. So this is the equivalent, and what I've seen is a couple properties where the broom is on one side where it was disturbed and it burned really hot, and on the other side is the mullen, and it's doing the same sort of thing. So I want to outcompete this Scots broom with the mullen, okay? And I think that by adding a couple other things in here, we're going to really move that succession forward a couple years. So 1, chop. 2, move the materials to the middle here. Stack them up. 3, the different teams will all go out and we'll start to spread out the mullen, some of this cover crop, some of these native plants all over. Then we're going to come through with the broom. Actually, we'll put the broom on top, a light layer of the broom over top of everything that we pulled to the side. Then we're going to add manure. I have some horse manure. Now this is mimicking the missing nutrients that we're losing in the forest right now. So biomimicry, this is what we're doing today. And then to top that off, we're going to actually add a whole nother season on top of it. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of leaf cover, so we're not going to get those leaves falling. So we're going to mimic that by adding the wood chips on top of it as the cap, as the top layer of this system. Okay. So what we've done there is we've added 2 seasons of succession, right, and a whole bunch of missing nutrient that wasn't here, that wouldn't be here otherwise. And by doing this, we're fixing the soil conditions. We're allowing the roots of this stuff, of the broom and the bodies of the broom to actually finish their job in the soil. And then, you know, again, what I've seen in areas like this, and we'll see for ourselves too, is that we can move that succession forward. There will be some broom next year, but it'll be much less. And then in a couple years, it'll be completely gone. But the point is that it's not going to take a lot, you know, it's going to be pretty easy. And if we do this in the spring, we really can get ahead of it, right? So that's the deal. So let me demonstrate on one section for you guys, and then we can all get busy. Sound good? Yeah.
Just a word of caution, we will be coming in here and taking down some of these burned up small oak.
Okay.
So it's going to beat up this area a little bit.
Okay.
So putting in live plants there are kind of at risk.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
as a word of caution.
Well, I didn't even have to plant these. It was more of just a, to demonstrate. The big key to this as well is moving succession forward, right? So adding overall shade, so sometimes we can use even non-natives like these pioneer. I consider very pioneer plant trees here, mulberry, Chinese elm tree. They grow really, really fast. Short period of time might be something you want to do closer to your home, right? Maybe not something you don't want an oak tree right next to your home because of potential fire hazards or whatever. So by increasing the shade conditions, moving that again succession forward, overall we're going to help eliminate the broom in a short period of time with a lot less energy inputs. That's the key. And poisons, which we didn't even talk about, right? Using Roundup and all these other glyphosate, type of stuff, it's not what we want to see in our community, and we don't need it. It's really not necessary, we know it's been proven to cause cancer and all these things, so it's not something we want to increase on our properties. And again, that stuff kills the biology, it kills the other elements that are there that are trying to move the system into a forward expression. So we're going to think smarter, not harder. All right, so let's see if we can get somebody, maybe one other person, Michael, or John Michael. Yeah, if you want to help me with one of these. This guy, and this will do. Bring this over. And
Manual labor.
If somebody grab the manure, yeah, careful. No one even scissors.
Yeah.
Bruce got it. Bruce got it.
Go at it right here. And it does help somebody pull it away. Yeah, okay, yeah. If somebody wants to help us pull these away real quick.
As we cut it.
As we cut. Okay, I got you. I'm just going to go, I'm going as low as I can to the ground. Okay? Hand it off to somebody. There you go. Yeah, this guy's right. Hey, Bob. Let's come over here and let's get some stuff.
This is new information I am hearing today.
Okay.
I'm excited to tell Ben about it.
So this is probably good for now. Now look at that. There's actually already a lot of litter being dropped that wouldn't have been here without that boom. I want everybody to really be aware of that. There is a lot of biomass, a lot of soil creation happening here. These are nitrogen fixers, like I said, they're really doing a lot of work. So once you clear your space, and this is, the closer you can get to the ground, the better, right? But don't worry, over the winter time, this is all going to soften up, okay? Especially from what we're going to be doing. So step 2, seed.
Now can I ask, is another alternative cutting like this, if it's smaller, run your sitting lawnmower through it, or a lawnmower through it? Because it has a different way it's going to cut.
Yeah, you could come through and chop it even further.
Okay.
Yeah, or use one of those big machines to do that. Money, time, it's not necessary. Yeah. What was that?
The service is breaking up.
Oh, okay, we can do it eventually? Okay. All right. You have some of that mullen? Okay, so I'm throwing a little bit of this cover crop seed in here. Okay. And she's throwing some of the mullen. Okay. So now we've got that. Now let's grab that broom that we've pulled to the side, and we're going to bring it back in here. I'm going to sort of just step on it. You guys got some? Okay, over there. We're going to step on that. Okay, now we're facing in the same direction. It'll really be helpful. Yeah. You just want to pick, direction that you go. It'll be a lot easier, so it doesn't get all jumbly. And so you see this. Now I've got the top half of the plant's green, the rest is brown. So if I were to then move down this way, I would just go to where the green is on the plant. So we're doubling up, sort of. We're layering it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So cover the wooded part with another layer of green tops from another one, like a shingle.
Right. Now, this look, I'm showing you guys the highest expression of the system. You could grind that stuff up, like, with a chipper or with some other form,
Chipping?
But
There's an idea.
it depends on the chipper and everything. They don't always work very well for that. But you could make it in smaller bits and then get it on the ground, especially if you did this earlier in the year. It'd be a lot easier to do that. You could actually mow it and then you could scatter it over the top like that and fine particles, which would be even better. You're, again, speeding succession forward a little bit more.
Because it's helping break it down quicker.
Helping break it down quicker.
Yeah.
So, but point is, we're just getting this material on the ground, and we're creating, a nice little sink, a sponge in here. Now is when I come through with some newer.
So you would also plant the cover crop in the spring. Is that correct?
Yeah, you would use a summer cover crop though.
Okay.
If you're early spring, you could do. You could still get away with probably a whole nother crop. They can go until like up here, especially probably till like July, I want to say. So if you planted in like April, you could do April, May, June, and July, or even in May, probably get away with a crop, a winter cover crop. But a good one for the summertime is summer cover crop. Ed, what's the summer cover crop?
Oh, comfrey? No.
No, I'm blanking on right now.
Summer cover crop.
Summer cover crop. Go for clover.
Clover, there's different types of clover.
Buckwheat.
Buckwheat, that's the one. Buckwheat is an incredible one too, actually. It's really great. So you could do, buckwheat. But anyways, so this is mimicking our friends, our dear friends and all these things that we don't have much anymore. And we're just going to giving it a loose sprinkling here of manure. Okay? Again, if you get this in a different form, you can have it all kind of blended up a little bit better and different things
So
like
someone could look at you and say, "Are you crazy? You're putting down fertilizer over Scotch broom?"
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it seems like that would be crazy, but we're doing this again. We're active stewards. We're watching it. We're then adding the next element. I didn't just add the manure, right? We added seed, which is going to be coming up right now. So timing is really important, right? You want to get in there. You want to add the seed. That's why we add the seed first. Then we're going to add the next layers on top of that. And so the seed will come through those layers and be the first one to come on. I wouldn't do this like right before the broom comes on, because you would be fertilizing the broom potentially, But if you occupy that space, you're out succeeding. You're knocking it back, bringing something else into place. Right timing. It's that switch, keto.
The problem is the solution. I like that. Okay, what about the seeds? How do you know when the seeds are there, not to just
Sure. So if there is seeds there, which they're pretty obvious, they're these little pods that come on. They're a legume, so they look like green pods or whatever. That I was hoping we didn't have to do today, but yeah, so, and we don't have any seed here that I see.
Okay.
So you'd have a clippers or rice knife. You want to make sure that you don't, shake them off. Okay, but you would want to remove those heads first and put them into a bucket.
Okay.
And then, either hot compost them, it gets up to 135 degrees 3 times, which it kills the seeds, or you can throw it in your, green waste.
Okay.
But I don't know, even that's kind of messed up, because I don't know if they compost the best way for the green waste facilities, and then you're spreading Scott's broom around everywhere else. I like to deal with it myself. It's a great input for a compost pile. So, and thermal composting class will be another one we'll do eventually. But yeah, chop it, throw it in a bucket.
When do those seeds come typically?
Well, late summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Now.
after the flower.
After the flower, yeah.
Okay.
Flower
Good
and
to
then
know.
seed pod. Yeah. So, yeah, when they get real stressed out, then they start to twist off those seeds. So. Okay, next layer is wood chips. Did we bring the wheel broom? So, yeah, that'd be great. The other thing great about these wood chips, they sat for a whole year, so they're full of mycelium. What's that? Yeah, it's fungi. It's the body of the fungi. If you guys ever lift up a log and see the white spider webby looking stuff underneath there, right? That's fungi. That's the body, and mushroom is the fruiting body of that organism. So, but mycelium or fungi in the soil holds 30 times more moisture. It also helps increase the nutrient capacity and availability in the area, and it's just one of the best, our best allies in the forest. It's the teeth of
Trees
the forest.
don't grow without it.
Trees will not grow without it, yeah. And in fact, it's what keeps trees alive that are in understories for up to 15 years. Because they borrow nutrients from other trees around it that have photosynthesis, and they trade with the fungi. They're like a network. They're like an internet under the soil, exchange highway of nutrients and all sorts of things. And probably a lot of things we don't even know about yet.
Death caps are actually a tree-based fungus.
Right. And, yeah, mycorrhizal fungi is what I'm talking about. So last step. It's a layer of wood chips. I'd say about an inch, something like that. You don't want it too thick, so that the seeds won't germinate. That's really important. So maybe an inch would be good enough. But what we've done here is we've created like 2 seasons in one short period of time. We've literally moved forward in time by a year when it was a healthy if it was a healthy ecosystem with all the animals and elements that we can. I could go crazier than this. I could actually add on, fish emulsion, right? Bringing in the salmon, the qualities of the ocean nutrient, kelp. I could start feeding this with compost tea. I could then plant trees in it. I could plant other native plants in this, seeded, or actually like ones that are in, 5-gallon, or 1 gallon, 5 gallon. So there's lots of things you can do to keep increasing those conditions. That's all up to us. But this right here, and honestly, and again, you can cut these down a lot closer. Like you can notice over here, I kind of cut these ones a little bit lower, so you can't even tell. It's just a nice little soft, carpet to walk on. But so we want to try to get as close to the ground as possible. So when you're walking through these areas, it's not crazy. But if you did this here in the fall now, and you're gone for the winter time, and you guys worry about anything, and all these roots are then continue their job in the soil. By the way, let's pull one of these up. I was showing somebody earlier. Yeah, you see, they have these tap roots. They're doing that too. So it's definitely a compaction, partially a compaction issue here, and the second part of it is the deficiency issue. So we want those little decompactors to finish their job. This is a higher clay soil up here in this area, so you're going to see a lot of this type of stuff coming up. So we want to
Was this
allow
area
that to
over
finish.
here treated like that?
Yeah, this was all done before I was here, so this was done with one of those machines.
Yeah,
you're talking about.
machines and weed whackers with metal blades and 4 guys, 4 people.
And how long did it
Nuts.
take you guys to do this section?
Oh, where are you? 2 or 3 hours. It was a workout. And you could see we started up probably by the truck, to that opening, and that's all we got. And we got lots to go back that way. So it's a major thing to anybody. And
Yeah,
Did you do
ideally,
this to it?
no, we
Layering
didn't
it
do
up?
this. No,
Okay.
nothing. We just cut it and we got it out of here. And that's what I did on my land. I just cut it about this long, and I just started piling in my truck. So it'd be nice not to have to haul all this away. It'd be nice to put it back to the land.
right. Yeah, as long as you do it before it seeds, and with the right, again, the right timing is really important. If you get it early on in the fall or in the spring, you're probably coming back, 2 or 3 times just to do a light, easy job, right? It's still going to have to do some work. You'll see a few popping through, but if you really lock it in, they say to go 3 times the recommended distribution of seed. So whatever that seed is, go 3 times that recommended amount, and that will lock in that area. Okay, so it's controlling by rampancy, we call it, right? So using life as the solution rather than death, and it's just a matter of what's your time worth. You know what I mean? Yeah, you buy a little bit of cover crop seed and you just disperse it, or do you want to spend all that time of yours out there really hard working and hurting your back, and how much more time does that take from your plate? So it's all relative, in the end. But ideally we get this before this point, because this is going to be a little bit, no matter how you cut it, this will be labor intensive, but let's hope it's only one time that's really labor intensive, right? And then we get ahead of it. Okay, so do we want to split in a couple of groups here? How are we doing on time, by the way?
Oh, you're way over time.
Oh, am I? Oh, okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
Sorry.
We don't get the free labor.
So Matthew is the headliner.
Oh man. Look at that. See, and I want to. This goes the tree right here. Look at this. Well, we got a tree right here being nursed up. Now, and I say nursed up because this is how nature works. It's a succession, stacking, nursing each other up into existence. I say every layer is a forest. It's like you got the king of the jungle, and the first layer of annuals, grasses, and stuff like that is some kind of bug. That's the king of the jungle in there. And then you got the little mice or whatever in the next layer, and then you've got the bigger animals all the way up to the mountain lion, which needs like 25 to 50 acres of excellent wilderness to be healthy, to have a pair of mountain lions. But see, now these trees might have gotten eaten down if this broom wasn't here by deer and stuff, and that's still something we have to consider. And could we might want to even cage off some of these trees in these areas just to make sure that they're okay, or at least put one of those tubes on them, okay, to protect the bark. Because they'll come back if they get eaten a little on the top, but if we can protect the bark a little bit, it would be helpful. All right, how many people we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's just say 9, and then we have 2 extra. So that's mainly 3 groups at a time, or we can do 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's do 2 groups of 2, or 4 groups of 2, and we'll have some left over, maybe even 5 groups of 2. So I need at least 1 other person. Maybe let's get 3 on chopping. So who would like to chop?
I have
2. All right.
Gentleman back here has a.
Okay, I just thought. All right, then who would like to pull the broom and stack it? 1, 2. All right. And then who would like to seed? All right, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's fine because we have a couple different types of seed. All right, so seed, and then we'll just get to the next step. We'll be probably done with the chopping after that anyway. So, all right, so choppers, grab your choppers. There's a couple more of these over there. Yeah. Everybody got the choppers? All right. So let's kind of work down this way so we can sort of, yeah, maybe just work in that direction. Alright, so everybody that's pulling, be ready, we'll have some material for you real quick. Where are we pulling it through?
You just pulling in a pile, Matthew?
Chop that way down before. Yeah, that'd be great.
Which makes sense.
Hands make light work, you know? Even just for moral support, even, you know? It's like, you have somebody that doesn't have football ability, just have one out there. Bring it from TV or
Just lay it in there with the rest of them.
Done. I'm just gonna go over here and watch out for poison oak. I suppose.
Roundup too, you still gotta remove that biomass. You can't spray it like this. It's just gonna stand there, a bunch of dead plants, yeah? You still gotta remove it.
And it becomes more volatile, there's more fire.
Oh, wow.
That's the beautiful thing about seeing the
So why would you not think it would cause cancer in somebody who does the same thing in people?
yeah, it's
Yeah, it kind of makes you want to get rid of all the Teflon. The chemicals that they use to make that stuff work they're all through our environment now. There's no getting away from it.
Careful reaching in.
Get some more here, guys.
Okay.
I would cut it. It's a good time to try to get it out. Okay, we'll go in with about...
But if we take away and we're pulling it up, it could fall through.
That huge pile of broom, just like that.
start asking, I might have to show people right back there. This one doesn't go very far, and there's a forest and Mullen back there.
Oh, cool.
So
Okay,
it's a
we
different
can work that way. All right, well, we'll save some for the next group. Too. And it's not about, just about everybody kind of doing it.
Right.
Who's got a good pair of gloves? You mind getting them some manure? Yeah, probably not. You don't want to. Anybody else?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Probably was.
Where is it? A blue bucket. Oh, there, it's over there. Yeah, there you go. Just kind of break it up a little bit. You might even know there's a flat shovel over there too. It probably wasn't. Okay. Alright, now we gotta get the seed mixed up. Where's Jennifer?
She's over there under the white.
Someone grab her, tell her ready for that seed.
It's over. She actually brought it. It's in the Mullen box.
Oh, okay.
Or Mullen, Susan. She brought it over.
Sorry. Alright, so we got goldenrod. You don't need it. So there's already mullen in there, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this out. Throw that in. Alright. Goldenrod. Thank you. I'm just giving a little. Okay. Native yarrow, white yarrow. Break it up. Looks like beforehand. This is the time of the year to collect seeds. Well, it starts as early as June, but collect them ready to distribute. We're going to need a whole lot of this if anybody wants to help collect some of that stuff. Where do you?
Should I gather the students or not yet?
Not yet. I'll just talk about it. I figure I'll explain it to everybody on live for now. This is, I think, Queen Anne's lace. Okay. These ones are in the carrot family. So they look like carrot seed. That's what threw me off for a second. Of course, you can buy this stuff in bulk too.
Do any of the cover crop plants have thorns?
Not that I know of so far. Yeah, nothing that's in here so far. Vervain. This one's already broke up.
Almost, one more.
Vervain.
Yeah.
All right, so and we've got a bunch of mullen in there already. So that's what that looks like. Just gonna mix it up a little bit more. Okay. Okay, where's my seed people?
I'm a seer.
Cover crop for
It's like ingredients for bean soup.
Yeah, it does. Alright, and if you want to do the native stuff, so remember a light deal on that. You might want to hold it with two hands and put it somewhere and just put it on the ground because it might not hold up too well. So, alright, I'm going to ask everybody to stop for now. And go ahead and stop. Now before, just real quick, before we talk about something here, I did notice a lot of folks left a lot of this stuff high. You know, again, just a little bit difficult when we get in there to walk and stuff. So try to get it down as close as you can to the ground for your own personal, ability to get in there with your own properties and stuff. But we now have our crews coming and dropping the seed. So we've got the native blend here, which is a yarrow, goldenrod, Queen Anne's lace, and vervain, as well as a mullen seed in this mix. And then he's got the multiplex cover crop blend. He's coming one way, she's coming behind him. And so they're going to scatter all that seed out. And then we'll be ready for the manure. So who wants to be on the manure? You did some of the spots? Okay. It's not, you know, I mean, this part isn't super crucial on the steps, but yeah, ideally. And if depending on what kind of manure you have as well, so you know, might need to spread it a little bit wider. Horse manure is one of the best manures you can get because it's a 25 to 1 carbon to nitrogen ratio. For instance, a chicken manure is 10 to 1. That's why I say like chicken manure burns plants. It's because it's so active, the biology is so active in it that it will, a lot of energy goes into that, so it burns your plants.
What about a rabbit?
Rabbit is, I want to say, it's a much lower. And it's available immediately. Rabbit manure, I believe, is one of the ones. Any of the pellet types, actually, you can put them right on your garden. It's not going to burn your plant. All right, that's probably good because I can see we'll probably get jumbled in here for any more. Okay, so we got seed. We got a little bit more manure we need to spread over here, guys, on this side. And then, while they're spreading, oh, you guys still do the seed over there, okay. The next group, though, we can start by grabbing these guys. Now, we want to choose a direction here to lay these, and I'm thinking it's going to be easier. We got some that are like a tree, you know, they've already fell. It's probably something, a deer, like ate it back or something at one point. So they bushed out. They're a little bit gnarly. I split that one, you see, so it's straight. So I would think, to make it easier on us, why don't we go straight into it on this? Yeah, what do you think? Or
Work our way out.
or we can go from one side left like that. That might, okay, yeah, let's do it that way. So where's the furthest we've gone over here? Where Michael is. Okay. I'm just going to use this tree sort of as a mark. So remember, we're just doing like basically one thin layer of these. If for some reason it's poking up, we can come through with a weed whacker or something like that, or one of my other tools to knock it down just a hair more. But that's about good. Oops, wrong way. So remember which way it's pointing. So the next group is going to come in and layer it, like stack it over, so the green material comes right up to the green material on this way. That makes sense? Okay, so do the first like foot all the way around, and then we'll come and do the second foot of material. And mind your tools, mind your workspaces here. We can even try to lay these right now.
Yeah, I'm just kind of making a file.
Let's just stop for now, Michael. That way we're not way over here. So, and then you ever see a beaver work and time lapse in a beaver?
No.
Well, I'll tell you, what it looks like in the beginning is a big mess. But once the beaver, it does its work, second year, the third year, all of a sudden it's a paradise. And, you have to trust in that time, that succession. That's probably the biggest thing in any kind of organic or natural system, is seeing through the time succession and having an expanded view of time, which is important. So, you guys are doing a really good job, by the way.
With these baby beavers.
Yeah. And I'll come through and hit any of those like pesky ones that are poking up. And if you have stuff that's really dead, like this, let's just put it to the side. We can sort of break it down. Be good to go around a tree like this.
So the dry stuff will do what won't we?
Yeah, you can put it around a tree or something and put it to the side. Let's just put it to the side for now.
Okay.
Okay, I think, how are we doing over there? Did we lay seed down yet in those areas that you're in? Okay.
We put seed back there, yes.
So then, you know what, let's start, somebody can help load some wood chips. Let's go get some wood chips going. We get 2 people on wood chips. Got a wheelbarrow right here.
There's some right in there that Michael brought, and then...
I'm a little tired. Okay, so I don't want you guys to go too far because I need to get this wheelbarrow in, right? So that's why I was saying, like, let's only do a small section of time. So, just don't expand that anymore, all right? Until we get the, it's just going to be hard to run the wheels over it, that's all. Somebody wants to fill this up, and then we can get somebody else to rake it or something. I've got my fork over there.
Is this good to go over here? Start laying them down?
Yeah, we've done seed over here already?
No.
I think so, yes.
Okay. We've seeded this area?
Nobody, I don't think so.
No? Okay, so not yours? Not yet.
I don't want to... Did you put seed over here?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, okay,
you did?
perfect.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Just dump it in here.
We're getting buried.
Sometimes you move fast and then that's the thing. We got so many people here, so now it's going pretty quick. I'll just spread it by hand.
We have a roof. So you're just covering the ground.
Yep, cover this room up a bit. Now think about it, we've got this material tree everywhere. I mean, coming off the mountain everywhere. It'd be nice if we see views like this.
I know, we have several kinds of
So
bugs
there's
on
here
our
we go,
property.
right there. Sorry, you can do like half and then maybe another half. Yeah, about right there. Okay, and maybe a little bit to the rest right here.
Cool!
Love it.
How do you do that? I don't know how to do that shit.
No, it's all right.
have to do it higher. Looks like we need some trees here right behind you. A little bit of green stuff.
Oh yeah, there's room right there, yeah. Good point. This is a little underway some.
Okay, good call.
Oh, this is very cool.
It comes off a little.
So you said that these things won't chip very well?
It just depends on the chipper, but if you let them sit for a little bit to dry out, they'll do better. If you try to do them like this, they're like quarters, you know, so they'll wrap around the blade. it up.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
You stumped the whole thing.
Oh, you know?
Excuse me.
Coming through.
You know, I was thinking actually maybe we should just work that way, and that way we can actually go over the top of the wood chip when it goes back. Does that make sense?
You want to do the next one, honey? Practicing my walking backwards. I'm contrary. Practicing my contrary now.
So the thing I want to, say to everybody is like, yeah, this is a little bit of labor intensity right now, but the whole point is that it's hopefully going to decrease in every year exponentially, right? So you have a bit of labor going in the first time, but every time you're not having it come back even harder next year because you pooled it, right? Or you sprayed it. You're actually going to see it decrease dramatically the next year and increase the overall soil conditions of the area, so, and if you have friends to help like this and you help each other, it actually can go pretty quickly, especially if you have a smaller lot. If you have a larger lot, you're going to probably want to look at other things like grazing animals mixed into the design of it, and machinery, mixed in with the design of it. Definitely not going to want to tackle a large property with hands-on, work like this. But for this purpose, it's really good. And you can obviously do a lot more if you have that intimacy. You can save trees. You can, do so many other things. Unfortunately, a lot of areas, you're going to have to, you probably would end up sacrificing a few elements because of the scale of it all, trees and such. If you didn't have the time to go and mark them and do all these sorts of things, but by increasing the germination conditions, it's also going to increase the ability for the natural elements that are already there to start to come back, a lot quicker. I always say it's a lot easier to allow a forest to grow than try to plant a forest. So, like our squirrels, our blue jays, they're our real foresters. They're the ones that bring in the seeds. It's already around. It's if we create the right conditions, those elements come in naturally and do that work for us. That's a really big point. Good. Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Exactly right. Alright. So, and you see, the difference here, this stuff wasn't chopped down all the way to the ground. It's got little pokers coming up there. But you see, we got it down real fine over here. So, that was my section. So the point is that you can do this and it's not, not too hazardous, you just have to do it right. We're feeding the soil, adding biology, adding organic matter, adding moisture holding capacity. These are the gears at work in the ecological machine.
Buckminster Fuller, don't fight the old, build anew.
That's right, build anew. So. All right, how we feel? We're pretty much out of Broom, so we did this section. So, hey guys, I think we did it. We did our first section here. One more maybe load of wood chips, and I think we're good. So, does anybody have questions on online or anything like that? Okay. So feel free if anybody has questions. This is a good time to ask them. And then we'll be doing another session, I think, still. All right, one more session. And yeah, different set of folks. So yeah, hopefully help people learn something here. And it's really simple, you know. It's not too complicated. Complex a little bit, but not complicated. You know, it's just about looking at nature, the oldest teacher in the universe, and following her pathway, following her design, and you know, that's how we win, and that's how we get better and better over time. It's just following those patterns.
Right here.
So.